world of YouTube. Sriracha. Short horror stories, poems, and lyrics. I thought I was done. I said I might have been done with my missing for 31 years Taj Narbonne story. Today I did some more research, more checking into, and like I said, I wanted to try and get an interview with Clarence Dean. Now I got a hold of Bridgewater and I would have had to email a woman, tell her exactly what I wanted to do. I had gotten the email. I talked to someone I was filling in for, knew that the original person was on vacation, I guess. But freakiness, more freakiness, and this is even more hair-wrenching on my neck and disturbed about this, but I'm kind of excited because of what I found out today. And I did go over another article I found within lost children websites and stuff. But the most important thing I want to go over today is what I have just found out about Clarence Dean. Now, it said Clarence Dean had went into Bridgewater Hospital for other reasons other than his history and past with Annette and Taj. You know, my thoughts and theories of what Dean and why he went into Bridgewater and probably did what he did to get there, I think it had a lot to do, and I'll say it again. I'm going to say it again. He had a lot to do with the jealousy and the obsession that he had over Annette. Because in that video that we went over on Route 31, he said he wanted to destroy his family, kill himself. But he could not do that. So that left him in peril. That left him to be left in his own world, shut down completely, and end up where all other freak bag people like that go. Bridgewater, the 5th floor. You know, out here in Fitchburg, people used to joke around. And where I live is the 5th floor in Burbank. And this Jesus Christ, you know, I'm getting more and more feedback on this by just going over stuff, thinking of stuff, and wanting to get that interview. But what I'm trying to get to is that trying to get in there to see Clarence, I would have a written letter, sent it to the person that conducts visits and talks to the inmates, and he would have given me full permission whether or not I would be able to talk to him. It would have been up to him. But guess what? Called today, was starting to get my info. The lady said, let me check our facility here to see, you know, if he's in there or whatnot, or where he's at, and whatever cell building or whatever the situation is out there in Bridgewater. I've never been there. I found out today that he is not in Bridgewater. Now, this could lead to two things. In my experience of, researching on the criminally insane and people that go on the institutions, some of them get better, some of them upgrade and move to a prison facility. But I also, and that would lead to, if Clarence would be moved, he would be moved to Walpole, which I think that might be the second most dangerous place for dangerous criminals to go, rather than like Alcatraz, if that was still open. I mean, that was the #1 main jail right there, Alcatraz. But of course, the sea, rotten cells, you couldn't keep prisoners in there, all that craziness. You know why it got shut down. But I think, yeah, in mass, Walpole would be the second from Bridgewater to, exploit and put in the real dangerous criminals, which, there are maximum facilities in jails. There was even one in the which they refer to at Worcester House in Mass as a little, a juvie home. You may add a joke jail. You ain't nothing if you're in that jail. It's all the wannabe. But Walpole is up there with the maximum. I could be wrong, but I think my brother being there and the people I've known throughout my life going there as the most dangerous place, and that's where I think they would transfer him to be a step down level to getting out to society if he wasn't in a long bid. I don't know how long his bid was for his last case, but that is what they told me. And Walpole told me that he is not in any of the jail systems throughout Massachusetts. So Bridgewater, Walpole, them are both facilities that would have this kind of information. There could be a thing of where he would be secretly placed, where not even Walpole or any of the jails, probably even Bridgewater won't even know about if he's that disturbed. And to me, though, I can't say that he wouldn't be, but bringing you through the journey that we went through with this man and the stuff I found just through this newspaper article. Now there's even more stuff, and it's just, I'm telling you, I'm getting more and more hyperactive on this. I just can't explain it. There's no words to explain how I feel towards this, but the more stuff that comes up, and now finding that Clarence Dean could be walking the streets, I'm telling you. And I wanted an interview. What if I could find out where he lived? I'd probably be taking him up on the street. Who knows if I find him? Maybe I can get something out of him. Maybe not. Maybe you try and kill me. Who knows for doing this? But hey, I know one thing. You can believe it or not. Believe it or not. Another freaky thing happens to me 4 nights ago. Alright, another weird dream to put in my weird dream category. And I was, it was about, 2, 3 a.m. I woke up out of this dream. But I was dreaming that I met Clarence Dean for an interview 4 nights ago, before I even found this, that he's out of jail. Believe it or not, I don't care. This is the way it works. This is how I am. This is how stuff goes through my mind. You might call me a psychopath, your own self. You might think of me as some whack job, your own self. But this, to me, is an open path to trying to find Taj, and I think something's coming out of it. Something's coming out of it in this dream. It may be a warning. I don't know. But I had a dream that I met him, interviewed him. I got up and went to do something. I came back, he was gone. Come to find out, he kidnapped another person and tried to frame me for it. And I'm putting this out on the line now. That's my dream. And I'm looking around for him. I'm apologizing to the people. I'm like, I didn't know this would happen. I didn't think this would happen. And I'm sitting there talking, looking for him. Where I was, it was like a jail or whatnot. But he's out. The man is out. He's either free or hiding secludedly. He could be dead. Also, don't get me wrong, when he got out, killed himself. Never know. I can't look up online right now because I ain't got the money to put into the obituary things and all that crazy stuff that you gotta pay, $39, $40 for that. I would love to get on there, but I ain't got the money right now. Like I said, I'm financially crippled. And I'm lucky I'm not limping right now because of it. But yeah, he's either out there, either dead or secretly hidden somewhere else because of maybe he's more mentally insane than Bridgewater can handle. That's the new news updates. I am not closing my videos until Taj is found. Then I will do my last video of that we found him, the place. I thought I would be done with all this, but no, I'm not. Now it's my goal to find the place, find the burial, find everything, and bring you through what would need to be done in the end to put him in his right burial. And I mean, hey, I'm on a mission right now. I'm on a mission. And if Clarence Dean gets in my way, if any way he finds out that I'm doing this, or any way he wants to try and stop me, or what crazy things that could happen now in the future, so be it. So be it. Now this next thing I found up, it's on another website, the Doe Network, case file 57 DMMA, and this relates to the what is it, circumstances, excuse me, of disappearance. Now this is way different from the Route 31 case, which is, if you want to check it up again, Clarence Dean, the Commonwealth versus Clarence Dean, and the newspaper article I have right here in front of me right now. I'm going to read this aloud, and then I'm going to tell you what I said. I'm going to tell you what was said in the newspaper article. But this is all completely different. And Narbonne was last seen leaving his family's home after a verbal argument, which that isn't all this as a thing of what had happened, but with his stepfather, March 31st, 1981. Narbonne had returned to his mother and stepfather's home, 15 Naples Street in Leominster, after this is new. I like to say again, never heard of this. I went over my article, I went over 2 or 3 websites in another video. Now this is another one, and this is all new. This, once again, I did not look this up while doing my other videos, but this is something that was never mentioned. In a 3-month stint living with a foster family. Now in the other articles in this paper said that he lived with family members and friends. It never said foster family. So I mean, Taj's mother woke Narbonne up the next morning to find him gone. And of course that's in the paper, but a foster home, what was he doing in a foster home? I mean, if that was the case back then, see, DSS wasn't strict. Like I said, I never knew DSS existed, but they did. And people like this, and they weren't even strict, that's why they come out full force on us now, you know. But I mean, this is all new. Narbonne left a handwritten note in his bedroom reading, and I'm going to read a newspaper article one that he originally wrote, and now I'm going to read this one, which I don't know where they got this from, but it states in my newspaper article, which I have here, show it, that I'm going away because I don't want to live here anymore. I don't have to listen to anybody anymore. And I quote, that note, like I said, too cold to be written by Taj. And I believe all day that Clarence wrote it for him after either suffocating or maybe even snapping his neck in his bed. Whatever the case was, he did it. He wrote it. It's cold. But this one, what I'm going to read now off this website, is stating, I'm going away because I don't want to live here anymore. Nobody is going to tell me what to do anymore. I don't know where they got that from. So that means, you see how this case gets all twisted. This case was improperly looked at back then. And it was just, and it said in one of the articles I read before this that he might have left with a friend, that he left with no shoes. And this one states, Taj's grandparents have said they do not believe their grandson left home voluntarily because he was terrified of the dark. But in my statements against that was, you know, giving the fact that they let him go home that night, and now they're saying in the newspaper article that they sent him home. His time was up because his cold was over in this newspaper article. And this is saying he was 3 months in a foster home. So, you know, this is why probably this story gets all flip-flopped around and not looked at properly. Because of the stories that you do find ain't irrelevant to the case or this newspaper article, which supposedly should be the original everything, because Detective Abishon has the original everything. Some stuff was thrown away, some stuff was discarded, like I said, but I'm sure the note's still there. I'm sure everything that he put in this article is legit. Now, I did not know he was terrified of the dark, like I said. That it was said before, and was not wearing socks or shoes. They say Taj was very afraid of his stepfather. I did read somewhere else, there was another article that it said that his slippers were missing. It wasn't this one. So there you go, there's another, I forget where it was, but it said his slippers were missing. I don't even know if it was in, you know, yeah. And it, well, you see what I mean? There's so many other articles out there, so many different stuff and different things that they can't get the story straight, and people are just flip-flopping. Well, what? You can't do nothing, you can't find nothing, let's just let it be. But that can't be the case right now. It's like I say, the stuff's coming out. The stuff from Clarence Dean is probably walking the street right now. And he's the only man that can find this boy's body. I tell you. I mean, there are places where me and Detective Abishon think Taj is, and I think we will guarantee find him if he gets the proper help, like I said. But if there's a way to catch Clarence Dean, if he is out there, if he ain't dead, and I'm, like I said, I ain't closing these videos or any of this until he's found buried. But I'm going to be investigating more, and hopefully, maybe, who knows, find Clarence Dean some way or another. I'm going to see what I can do to find him. And in 1982, this is the ending of it. Taj's stepfather was sentenced. Now, in the paper here, it says, for the alleged kidnapping and stabbing of Annette, that Dean was, he served 2 years in jail for the assault, according to Long. I don't know who that is. We'll get back. Oh, that's Annette's new marriage name, but 2 years. In the Route 31 article I read, it said 3 years he did time. And now it's saying sentenced to 6 years in the state prison in Concord for kidnapping and stabbing his wife a year earlier. So here's another thing here. Yeah, there you go, a year earlier. Oh yeah. Well, that, see, there you go. Screw me up again, alright, that is right. And Bones' mother and her 3 other children went into hiding after he was released from prison. 3 others. She only had 2 from him. Where was Taj? Taj was missing. So I don't know. Some of these websites are screwed. She had another child with him again. Well, I don't know, but yeah, what I was just pausing there was to see a year earlier. It was a year earlier because, like I said, that she left her, you know, to the Cape in September, came back December, right, for Christmas, and this case took in 1982, so yeah, it was probably 6-7 months. It wasn't even exactly a year, but yeah, that just messed me up on that. But yeah, that's accurate. But 3 other children, and you see what I mean? These stuff that when people look this up and go over it, and it just comes out inaccurate or different sayings, and but where does it all come in? I mean, going over the fact that Clarence Dean could be out there on the streets right now. And who knows what he's doing. It just got me really thinking now of, could this case really be solved? Because if anybody that can find that boy is him. And that first kid that they had out there, you know, that first appeared on a milk carton in 1979 or 81 it was, that boy from New York, the guy confessed. I mean, killers in the past have confessed of killing or taken over someone's job just for publicity. For what reasons, I don't know, because I know damn well I wouldn't be one of them people to say, hey, I killed that person, it wasn't me. And then, you know, that he could be that kind of person too. But then again, he came and described detail of what he did with the boy, and it ended up that he put him in a trash barrel. And like I said, Dean could have done that. Maybe he read that article too. Saw the boy on the missing milk carton, cut him up, put him in the trash, he went down the lemons to dump, like I said. But there's a mistake that Dean made, that when it got closed down in 1982, like I said, no way in hell that much of trash could have covered that body that deep. Because I would imagine that Leominster Dump was running at that time just for Leominster residents. So there, like I say, that there was one mistake I made, that the machine that they can look on the ground for bones, and I said like 2 miles, I made a mistake. There ain't no way no machine to do 2 miles, but 200, 300 feet I meant to say. And I'm not getting excited in a way of, you know, that you know, I'm gonna be the man who solves everything. I'm excited that there's something's there, and I know. I mean, I want something to happen. I want him to be found, and it goes for any kid. And if I can make something new of this and do something and keep going over things, you know, maybe I can come up with my own little show here and do my own little investigation of what maybe cops might have missed, or investigators, you know. If I could get that kind of pull, I don't need no schooling for this. You just don't need, alright, this is my thoughts and theories of police work. You got people that go into police work, and maybe their background is their grandfather was a policeman, their father was a policeman, their great uncle was a policeman. It all goes down generation from generation. But some, not all, but some police, and correct me if I'm wrong, and you can say I'm stupid on my thoughts and theories, excuse me, and or whatever you want to think of me. But sometimes there's that time where you have to witness the other side before you can think it. And now there is no educational book, there is no college, there's no diploma, degree, master's degree that's going to teach you about digging deep into a criminal mind. Unless you walk on his shoes, think the thoughts he thought of them days of death, of killing. You know, you got to think like a criminal. You got to think like a cold-blooded killer. You have to have these thoughts. It's sick, it's demented, it's crazy to say, but you have to have them. You can just not walk in there with a book that says, oh, if you approach a criminal and they're mentally disturbed, to to obtain or to restrain, is what I'm saying, this person, you would need to do, and give you a list of things to do. You just can't have a list of things to do. You gotta know if this guy's gonna charge at you with a knife, pull out a gun and blow your frickin' brains out, take you and take a rock and bash in your head, bash in your skull, sneak up behind you, run around a bush, run around a tree, start running crazy, wildly in a circle, and all of a sudden spring like a jaguar or a lion for the kill of a prey. You gotta think like this. You just can't walk up to them and say, hey, you're under arrest. Yeah, there are cops out there that are smart. They use full force nowadays. Some use it wrong, some use it right. You got the pepper spray, you got the taser guns now, which is a good thing. But still, there's sometimes that person's so sick in the mind that pain is not an issue. I've seen men get punched in the face 5, 6, 7 times and just sit there and laugh at you. And I'm literally talking about full force swings to the face. It's sick. It's insane. And it's people like this that's made people like me that you gotta think like them to beat them, to outwit them, to overthink their brain. Because if you don't talk or look or even talk their lingo, you gotta be, you're not gonna get nowhere with them. I'm telling you, I'm letting out too many secrets on that, but I'll tell you, I got my own sicknesses. I got my own things and issues to deal with. I've had people said that I belong in Bridgewater for the sick things I think of, but I'm trying to put them into good use now and to do things like this. And where this kid could have been my friend and to this day be my friend, I'm helping him as like a friend, as like a brother or a father would do for his son. And like I said, I still don't know anything about Taj's father or where he was at the time of this and that. I haven't really asked about him because I don't know. I just don't want to get into that right now because, hey, I don't want to put a guilt trip on the person if he's alive or if he ain't. If he's alive, I don't, you're not doing your job. But I mean, it's just, hey, what can you do? If this is new evidence today, I've got Clarence Dean. I don't know where he is, but he's not in a jail. He's not at Bridgewater. And I thought, like I said, I'm gonna continue to search, roam, whatever I got to do to get this kid found, help, and look further deep. Like I said, the newspaper article videos are done. Now this is a whole new form and game. And I'm not going to stop until he's put in the right burial. Not out in some set of woods, not in some river, lake, bushes, trees, landfill, wherever he was put. I'm hoping, like I say, that he's around here, in a shallow grave, somewhere easy to find. Of course, anybody would wish that. Or I could just be one, idiotic fool doing this, which, I sometimes I feel like that and not finding nothing, but no. The story's out there, it's known, and more stuff I find. You gotta see why the story's so twisted around. Like I said, the newspaper article says one, this article says one, that one says another, that one says another. It's about, I wonder why this case just gets overlooked, because there's so many twists and turns in this Clarence Dean's maze. Like I said, you are in a maze. You are not getting out until the body is found. Welcome to the maze. And I'm telling you, this just keeps getting crazier. And to find out, like I said, that Clarence Dean is out, or could be out, it's just beyond my beliefs. It's crazy. Think of a man of that nature, of what he's done. You might as well just let O.J. Simpson out. What has he got to sit in jail for? What for? He got away with murder. This guy got away with murder so far. I think his dumb relapse of what he's done in the stupid things that he didn't cover up is what's going to bite him up in the ass in the end. And it's all over. Hopefully they find him. Hopefully he's still alive and he gets prosecuted to the extent of where he can't walk, falls down in a toilet in a jail cell and drowns, or someone just hangs him, kills him, beats him, whatever it takes. Population, do your job, get rid of this punk. Child beaters, killers, all should be sentenced to death. If the case is serious, if the case and the evidence is full, solid proof of what has been done, then that person should not exist in my eyes. Other than that, you too. I'm going to keep looking until the next video. Big salute. Take care. I'm out.